Ah, c'est ça, che se sa non sa se sa, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique et de l'acquisition des langues. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Month. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bambas. Bamba, okay, Bambas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or what? And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, but sounds vaguely like hogun and the hok in hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur sachant chasser, ses chasser sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora, editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise, the stream where we talk about languages and look at the best and worst of language YouTube and play some GeoGuessr. I'm Elise, a translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages, so I know what I'm on about. So let's get started. As always, my top score in GeoGuessr, which I'm still trying to beat, is 24,009 out of
5,000. That's a tough one to beat. Have to get it, well, basically perfect, obviously. Let's see if this is the time when we... Damn, what happened to the... Like that big map. Oh. Okay. He's in England. Doesn't mean a lot. But North America, this could... Seeing anything terribly distinctive. Liebegas. Okay, that sounds Baltic. It's something Main Streety looking. Anastasis. It's actually the Estonian. It's ever taken me to Estonia before. Let's see. Let me make sure that sounds working. Oh, wait, So, possibly Estonia. Something Balkan. Something Baltic, anyway. Anna success. Yeah. See? The heart? Done it? Oh wait, what was that? Sign. No houses, cars, or football allowed. Well, nobody's paying that any mind. I see tons of houses. I haven't seen... Well, yeah, no, and cars. That sign is being completely... Don't see any football, though, so I guess it's only 2/3 ignored. How's everybody? Okay. Udrabu ejus ie. That's making me... What, Estonia? Then, the J. Not, to my knowledge, Estonian. something more than just a street name. No. I don't really Finnish I have a reasonable grasp on. Estonian not so much. So I don't know whether Iela could be like an Estonian version, or whether it is a Baltic thing. Okay, here we go. Stitsams. Okay, yeah. Not Estonia. But not far from Estonia either. It's either Lithuania or Latvia. I can't tell those languages apart, but I can recognize them. Well, I can recognize them with 50-50 accuracy. I have some indication of what that would be. Iznemot. Yemot. Oh, next. Hey, that doesn't. LB. That's Lietuva. Okay, we are someplace in Latvia. This unfortunately does not. So there is a fair bit of Latvia. I mean, I feel like we're probably in the area. Tram system. So maybe someplace. Huh? $49.58. Not too bad, or not actually having any definitive indicators. Okay, so far. Okay, we got palm trees in the front garden. 211th Street and Saddle Way. Green signs and palm trees make me think US. Is that a dead end? Yes, it is. California could be Florida. Yeah, US flag. Well, I mean, with the palm trees, I wasn't really banking on Canada. Okay, we got bins. Are these info bins? Are these bins going to tell me useful things, or are they going to be too small to actually? It's on. Looks like 400 area code. Is that it? I don't think so. We're in some US place. That much is clear. Fuck, another dead end. Okay, 212th Street. Okay, those street numbers make me think we're probably near some sort of fairly large urban area. Someplace in the burbs. Okay, that's looking more like a main road. Yeah. Well, I didn't. Now, what have we got here? Okay, not a river. Second, I thought that might have been a river. .480 area code. Nauvoo Station? That name means nothing to me. Prisman Road and Spyglass Boulevard. At least we're someplace in a street that might connect up to a major numbered route, interstate or something like that. Cocotillo. What's in the other direction? Not too much that can be seen here anyway. It was a sign just now. Let's... no, nothing. Nothing new. All we've got is the 480 area code and the fact that this looks fairly like southwestern US. None of the place names are meaning anything to me. Oh, fuck. I bumped my camera connection. I'm going to have to restart the stream, hopefully. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully this... there's so much lag. We'll see. Oh my GeoGuessr. Now it's back. Careful not to bump the bloody camera connection. Making sure that it's actually going. Okay, well, I mean, the lag is huge. Okay, good. I am back. Good. That is what I was trying to work out. The lag on the stream health window that I have to have open is like, it's like 10 minutes of lag, so I couldn't tell. Good, I'm here. Just listen to my audio. Just listen to my audio. Okay, yeah, I'm audible. Looked like I was, I should have been. But I've had it happen a couple of times that my noise came. So, here, Harbor Freight, that's listen. Errands, no idea. Walgreens. So, useless as a geographical distinguisher. In the US, anyway. Jack in the Box. Okay, that tends to confirm my belief that we are probably in California. Someplace. It's all the strip mall crap. Magma engine. It's like a hot job. Norton's Country Corner. Hey, could we have like state route or something? Town center. Wow, that's not generic at all. Wyborniaci wojska. Ah. Power substation. Got mountains in the distance. Central California, maybe? Town of Queen Creek. Queen Creek. Oh, we're in Arizona, not California. I was gonna say. Okay. Queen Creek, Arizona. Get to Arizona very. Queen Creek, Arizona. Feels like it's probably a suburb of someplace larger. Queen Creek, Arizona. Go. Nauvoo Station. There we go. However that exactly is. Never seen. Okay. $49.96. Hadn't been for that first one, I would still be in the running to my best score. But fortunately, didn't quite, came a little bit under in that last one. Not in the US. Someplace without a whole lot of trees. That desert? Not sure. Okay, so not in the US. Houses, not sure. Feels like maybe something South American. I don't know. So far, not very clear. Okay, looks like right side driving. Dur. We're in Turkey. Stop sign. The dur. Okay. So, where exactly? Well, we got mountains. Fairly impressive looking there. Got a sign coming up. Patnos Agro. Two places I've never. Auto. Feels like this must be off. There's auto. Patnos. Patnos is 30 kilometers away. On the same road. Going west. Patnos, wherever that exactly is, must be west. Auto. Güzel. Oh no, wait, if we're going west, it's east of Auto. That makes sense. Pretty sure we're on this E80. Doesn't it looks like the only long distance road around here. Okay, that's on. Okay, so also near our... Oh, there we go. Auto. Oh, hell. Interesting. In Swedish, it can't... the Swedish version somehow cannot handle a lot of the Turkish special diacritics. Senor Safli. Okay, we're someplace Portuguese speaking. Portugal. No, I'm not getting Brazil. I think this is giving Portugal, but I'm not entirely certain. Signs don't seem quite right for Brazil. Stylistically, they actually look British. You're a very excitable dog. Here's don't know. Hear it? Dori Java. Bonasha. It's giving Portugal. Feels much more compact than still is huge. But that's a stop sign. It says stop. Okay, yeah, Portugal. Buenos Aires. This might be more southern than... Hard to say, though. pretty good. So we're someplace in Portugal, which is a relief because it's way smaller than Brazil. Someplace in Brazil, then miles away from knowing where the hell we are. And for anyone just joining, this is Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages. And this is the stream where we play GeoGuessr when we talk about the best and worst of language learning resources and stuff on YouTube. Try to figure out exactly where in Portugal we are. Ooh, bread. Victory Misspelt Barbershop. Sounds like hipsters have made their appearance. Pretty little town, though. Wherever exactly it is. Wait, Aluandiense? This be Angola? I feel like not. Aluandiense? That's... Yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely not. There is no GeoGuessr coverage. But Aluandiense? Okay. Oof. A cabinet maker from Luanda, I guess. Okay, not Angola. Didn't think Angola. It wasn't giving Angola. And you... know how the root work. Seems like the numbers down somewhat. N206. A Braganza. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so there's 6. Dory. Go. Direction of. Okay, so northern. Go. 49.94. And one last one before go into a quick bio break. English speaking. I feel like this might be Africa. Loke ice. Cool buzz. The design there. Friends fries. A stand a chippy. Auli consuelo. Yanaki. Ambasi. On Philippines, maybe. Yeah, that looks like. $47.72. Bad. 24,408. Once again, not far from my best score, but not there. Okay, gonna take a quick bio break. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant.
Ça, c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Month. Yen. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bangba, okay, Bangbas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré, des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré, des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I buy a computer or quack, and here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, quack sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that appears it is the exact same Chinese character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur, sa chambre chassée, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt. Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idioma, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más. Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cocine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenas proteine. Protoculo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously.
Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And we're back. See videos we've got here. Check out. Juste en français. Okay. I'm gonna look at something from Talk to Me in Korean.
Great channel for anyone, for Korean learners, all sorts of really just amazing free resources on that channel. Very warmly recommended from me.
안녕하세요, 여러분. 한국에서
I mean, one thing I like right here is we have English and Korean subs. People follow along as they're listening. Okay, it looks like right side driving.
전문 스피치 코치로 활동을 해 오신 히렌 최님과 함께 앉아 있습니다. 안녕하세요.
And so what you have is like comprehensible Korean input here with the Korean subs, which you can't really see so well because I have the English subs on there for anyone who's following along in English. But so you can follow along that much easier. Both speak quite clearly.
안녕하세요.
네.
저는 인간관계와 커뮤니케이션 스킬을
Okay, that's annoying. When I pause, the English show.
가르치고 또 열심히 유튜브를 제작하는 히렌최라고 합니다. 히렌 채널이라는 유튜브를 운영하고 있습니다. 반갑습니다.
똑같이 뭐 감사합니다라는 표현을 쓰더라도 감사합니다 하고 감사합니다 하고 이 표정에 따라서도 느낌이 달라지는데
그렇죠.
어떤 단어를 쓰는지 어떤 문장 형태를 쓰는지에 따라 많이 다르잖아요.
맞습니다.
그래서 오늘 한국어를 여러분이 배워서 누군가랑 이야기할 때 말을 더 예쁘게 매력적으로 하는 방법을 이야기를 해보겠습니다.
남조선식으로.
한번 어떤 게 있는지 소개를 좀 해주세요.
일단 한국어에 대해서 억양적인 면을 먼저
Yes, this is about the intonation of Korean. Because Korean does not tend to have it doesn't have a very flat intonation. The prosody is always kind of a little bit everywhere. That is one thing to get used to.
설명을 드리는 게 좋을 것 같아요.
억양, 인토네이션.
그 인토네이션에 따라서 어떤 말은 더 딱딱하게 들리기도 하고 어떤 말은 더 부드럽고 예쁘게 들리기도 하거든요.
어떤 예가 있을까요?
중간 접속사 같은 경우에는요.
네.
나도 모르게 쓴 습관들이 있습니다. 한국 분들도 많이 쓰시는 습관인데
네.
말끝을 계속 올리는 거예요. 그래서
Interesting. That's like not just a Korean thing either. I mean, in a lot of languages that's sort of a normal thing to do, and it's also in a lot of languages something that is considered kind of an annoying habit.
그런데 그래가지고 네 하면 되는데 네? 이러는 분들이 있어요. 말끝이 올라가면요 끝이 끝나는 느낌이 아니라 계속 이어지는 연결되는 느낌을 받습니다. 그랬습니다 라고 끝나는 게 아니라 그래서 그런데 그래가지고 자꾸 말끝을 올리면 뒤에 할 말이 남았나? 거기에 플러스 리액션을 하실 때 주의하시는 것이 좋은데요. 아까 말씀드린 약간 이런 느낌이 영어는 괜찮잖아요.
네네.
근데 우리말로 네 이렇게 끝을 한국어에서 올리게 되면 그래서 이 사람이 계속 내 말을 알아들어서 네 하는 것과
Let's see. No signage so far. Wherever we are is driving on the right. Billboard or something here. Remax, okay. Wait. Okay, 970 area. Once again, I feel like we're probably California, probably on the west, possibly southwest.
못 알아들어서 의아한 건가? 라는 느낌을 좀 주기가 쉽습니다.
그냥
Let me just drop the link to Talk to Me in Korean onto this specific video in chat.
이야기를 듣는데 네, 네 이렇게 듣는 거랑 네, 네 이렇게
맞아요.
들으면 약간 그래서 어디에서 재미있는 이야기가 나오는 거야?
맞아요.
맞아.
지금 이야기가 지루해라는 느낌을 줄 수 있는 것 같습니다.
맞아요.
그래서 그건 중요한 것 같고
또 뭐냐고.
한국어는 문장 끝이 굉장히 중요하잖아요.
중요합니다.
중요한 만큼 어려울 수 있어요.
네.
이게 좋은 것 같아요 라고 말하고 싶을 때 같아요가 좋을지 좋을 것 같은데요가 좋을지 아니면 이게 좋아요가 좋을지 마지막 부분을 좀 고민하느라고 그냥 이게 좋을 것 같아요 이렇게 말을 하는 경우가 많아요. 네.
최고의 지적입니다.
네, 이거는 근데 한국 분들이 한국어를 하실 때도 많죠.
맞아요.
네.
한국 분들께
Yeah, because there's a lot of commitment at the end of the sentence. Because the end of the sentence is where the verb is in Korean, like Japanese. It's also where we decide, you know, what the verb ending is going to be. The ending of the main verb is going to be. Has all sorts of all sorts of connotations, because depending on whether you can suffixes that indicate like that you're seeking agreement, that you're expressing uncertainty, that politeness levels, all that sort of stuff.
조금 전에도 강의를 하고 온 내용 중에 정확히 이 내용이 있습니다.
아, 그래요?
네, 말 끝에 습관적으로 흐리시는 분들. 그래가지고 상사가 연락이 와가지고 막 이런 식으로
네.
말을 흐리면요. 한국어는 그런 말이 있잖아요.
네.
끝까지 들어봐야 한다. 그래서 이 사람이 하려는 말이
Yeah, you have to listen to the end because that's where the main verb is, apart from everything.
지금 부정적인 얘기인지 긍정적인 얘기인지를 끝까지 들어봐야 아는 경향이 많은데요.
네.
그렇게 말 끝에 흐리면 그래서 뭐 어떻게 하라는 거지?
Yeah, like for example, right there, she says "거지." That "지" is the ending that tells you that this is meant to be soliciting your agreement, which is expected.
그렇죠.
네,
네.
의구심을 낳을 수 있습니다.
마지막 부분이 흐려졌을 때 자신이 없어 보여요. 물론 저희가 재미로 안녕하세요, 감사합니다 이렇게 하면 너무 학습자 같다. 그러니까 조금 더 유창하게 안녕하세요, 감사합니다 이렇게도 해봐라. 그러니까 조금 더 유창하게 안녕하세요,
안녕하세요, 감사합니다.
감사합니다 이렇게도 해봐라 말씀을 드릴 때도 있었지만 그럴 때도 끝은 중요해요. 그러니까 앞에 감사를 좀 줄여서 감사합니다는 하더라도 나는 한 거잖아요. 문장 끝부분이 화려하지 않아도 괜찮아요. 자신 있게 끝맺음, 마무리를 확실하게 해주시면은
Yeah. I mean, because again, the most important thing, the thing that brings everything together, that brings it home in Korean, is at the ending. In other languages, say English, it tends to be closer to the start. But in like Korean or Japanese as well, this is a lot of this is very true of Japanese because the structure of Japanese and the structure of Korean are very, very similar. The end of the sentence is really important. The tail end tells you all sorts of important things about exactly what's going on. Spectrum cable. Okay, I mean, fairly certain this is the US. Fairly certain we're at West.
너무 좋을 것 같습니다. 또 중요한 게 있을까요?
말의 내용이 굉장히 중요한데요. 어떻게 말
Yes, the content does tend to be important. 내용은 중요한 거지.
내 끝을 맺느냐가 말의 내용에도 있습니다. 어떤 말을 해도 부정적으로 끝나는 사람은 좀 매력적으로 느껴지지 않을 수가 있어요. 왠지 저 사람하고 대화를 하고 왔는데
네.
찝찝해요. 그러면 대화가 시종일관 부정적이었을 확률이 높습니다.
내용이 부정적인 것도 있지만 어떤 표현이 부정적인 것도 있는 거죠.
맞아요. 그래서 똑같은 단어여도요. 부정적인 표현과 긍정적인 뉘앙스가 있는 한국 어휘들이 있는데요. 이 차이를 잘 구분해서 사용하시면 한국 사람보다 더 말을 예쁘게 한다라는 느낌을 받으실 수 있어요.
예를 들어 어떤 게
예를
있을까요?
들어서 너 오늘 좀 냄새난다.
냄새난다. 냄새난다.
이러면 한국 사람들은 어떻게 느끼냐면 나 냄새나? 나 뭐 땀났나? 막 이렇게 생각해요.
부정적인 뉘앙스가 들어있네. Yes, literally, 냄새난다 means a smell is coming out, like of you or whatever we're talking about, and it's sort of the difference between saying, you know, like, a scent, fragrance, and odor. Like, you pay money for a fragrance to spray on. You would not. Now, technically, it can also be called an odor, but if somebody refers to it as an odor, you will be questioning your decision to spend money on it. It's a similar thing here. Yes, there is a scent coming off of you. Montrose, San Juan RV Resort. Central California, maybe?
네네.
근데 너한테 오늘 좀 좋은 향기 나는데? 그럼
Hyangyi. And this is interesting as well because Hyangyi is Sino-Korean. That is a Chinese loan word. Like that hyang is also the same hyang that you would see, which is pronounced xiang in Mandarin, in Xianggang, as in Hong Kong, fragrant harbor.
어떻게 알았어? 나 향수 뿌렸는데? 기분이 좋아지는 거죠.
친구가 좋은 향기가 나는데 그걸 냄새라고 표현하면 그건 좀 안 좋은 친구 아니에요?
그래서 약간
Yeah. Namse is the native Korean word. It is the Korean, like, pure 고유어.
한국 어휘가 헷갈리시는 분들은 이런 디테일한 뉘앙스들 앞에 긍정 어휘를 붙이시면 돼요. 오늘 너한테 좋은 냄새나.
좋은 냄새는 아주 좋은 칭찬인데 그냥 냄새는 일반적으로
그쵸.
나쁜 냄새니까. 그런 건 어떻게 생각하세요? 한국어에서 많이 쓰인
Yeah, which of course, I mean, does not necessarily work in other languages quite the same way. Like, you can't really say, oh, your odor is nice. I mean, that already sounds bad.
표현 중에 뭐뭐 해야 돼.
네.
사실은 할 계획이 있는 거거나 아니면 하고 싶은 거예요. 예를 들어 오늘 미용실 가야 돼. 나 머리 잘라야 돼. 뭐뭐 해야 돼라는 말을 제가 생각했을 때 한국어 화자들은 너무 많이 쓰고 있는 것 같거든요.
네.
그렇게 느끼신 적 있으세요?
그게
Yeah, because it suggests that it's expressing and 해야 돼 is like expressing a necessity that has arisen. So it doesn't necessarily, like you're saying that there's this obligation that has arisen, sort of independent of whether you would like to do it.
한국의 어떻게 뭐 문화라든지 좀 경쟁 사회에서 그렇게 자라오신 분들이 그런 언어 습관을 많이 지니고 계셔서요. 제가 채널에서 최근에 인터뷰했던 어떤 전문가분이 본인의 말 습관으로 그걸 꼽아주시더라고요. 나도 모르게 뭐뭐 해야 돼 형을 굉장히 많이 쓰고 있어서 내가 그런 강박이 있구나 스스로의 성향을 인지.
Good to see you. We're looking at this is Talk to Me in Korean. And she is a like professional like speech coach, I think was the title that they used. And she's talking about intonation and other aspects of like speaking in Korean. It's a great channel. This is definitely more for like advanced people. This is very, they're speaking quite like normal speed. But they always have good English subtitles. They have Korean subtitles. and stuff like that, and they always speak very clearly as well, unless they're trying to make a point about speaking less clearly. Very good channel, very good resource for learning Korean, particularly.
하셨대요. 그런 성격을 좀 나타내는 것이 아닌가? 라는 생각을 했습니다.
그럴 수 있겠네요. 점심 먹어야 돼. 사실 안 먹어도 되거든요.
맞아요.
생리적으로는 먹어야 되는 것, 먹어야 되는 거지. 먹어야 살 수 있다고 할 수.
저 같은 경우에는 배가 안 고프네? 나중에 먹을까? 근데 우리는 점심을 먹고 싶어도 점심 먹어야 돼. 저녁을 먹고 싶어도 저녁 먹어야 돼. 이런 이야기를 많이 할 때가 있는데 뭐뭐 해야 되는 부정적인 것만은 아니지만
그쵸.
조금 더 긍정적인 내가 이걸 하고 싶다면 이걸 저녁 먹고 싶어? 점심 먹고 싶어? 아니면 점심 먹을 시간이야? 하는 것도 괜찮을 것 같아요.
먹을 시간, it is time. It is the time where the lunch is being eaten, where the lunch is to be eaten. And which also, I mean, is a way of saying it that is sort of independent of one's will, but not necessarily like describing it as an obligation.
또 하나 생각이 나는 포인트가 있습니다. 질문할 때 이거 뭐예요? 아니면 이거 어디에 있어요? 라는 직접적인 질문도 나쁘지 않은데 조금 그 질문의 부담을 덜어주는 차원에서
네.
이거 뭘까요? 이거 어디에 있을까요? 이렇게 질문하는 거는 저는 개인적으로 좋아하는데
네.
어떻게 생각하세요?
저도 그거 좋아합니다. 그러니까 조금 더 열어놓고 이야기를 하면은 좀 압박이 덜한 것 같아요. 그래서 어떻게 생각하세요? 정도? 근데 뭐예요? 왜 그랬어요? 약간 이거는 좀 취조하는 것 같고
취조.
나로 포커스가 맞춰지잖아요. 그래서 마치 내가 변명을 해야 될 것 같은데 이 문제에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요? 하면은 그냥 제 생각은 이렇습니다. 라고 하는데 만약에 왜 그렇게 생각하세요? 이러면 이제 이거는 뭔가 논리적으로 근거를 마련해야 될 것 같죠.
그래서 영어에도 사실 why라는 단어 대신에 what makes you think that 왜 무엇이 너를 그렇게 생각하게 만들었냐라는 표현을 제가 영어를 처음 배울 때 처음 접하고 되게 신선한 충격이었거든요. 이거 괜찮은데? 상대방 탓을 하지 않는 거잖아요.
그쵸.
재밌었어요. 그럼 만약에 뭐뭐일까요? 라는 화법을 써서 저는
Yeah, see, would it be possible? There are verb endings. One of the things about Korean, to a lesser extent Japanese, is Korean has tons. I mean, Japanese and Korean aren't related at all, but they have a lot of structural similarities. So a lot of things, a lot of sort of general statements about Korean are also true of Japanese. Like, you have all these different endings that express all sorts of different nuances. They just are endings on the verb. So, like, 먹을까요? 먹 as a root means like eating, to eat. 먹다 is like to, it's just an indicative sentence that's that eating is happening, that somebody is eating. But then you can have like 먹지, which is like, so yeah, eating is occurring, isn't it? Or 먹을까요, which is like, would eating be possible? Would it be possible for there to be eating?
앞으로 저희 회사 직원들에게 이거 오늘까지 될까요? 이런 거 어때요?
오늘까지 될까요는 근데 약간 좀
내용이 별론가요?
네, 내용이 오늘까지라는 얘기가 아니라고 하면
그러면
좀 혼날 것 같은 느낌이 듭니다.
좀 더 빨리 될까요? 이런 거 안 되죠?
네, 안 돼요. 일단 빨리라는 단어가 약간 쪼는 느낌이 있습니다.
네. 아무리 그 말투, 화법, 말맛 이걸 살리려고 해도
단어가 중요하죠.
내용과 단어가 안 좋으면 다 소용이 없군요.
그렇죠, 그렇습니다.
그리고 또 한 가지 재밌는 게 한국어 학습자들이 질문하시는 것 중에 한국 사람들은 왜 자기 생각을 말할 때 뭐뭐인 것 같아요라고.
Yeah, literally this 인 것 같아요. I mean, this is a way of sort of distancing yourself from what you're saying. You're saying this thing, but instead of like saying, instead of saying this is how it is, you say there is the appearance that this is how it is, It's a way of sort of softening
이렇게
things.
보여요라는 느낌의 말투를 쓰는지를 질문을 종종 하시거든요.
네.
이 부분은 어떻게 보세요? 좀 줄여야 될까요?
문화가 말에도 많이 반영이 됐기 때문에 생각을 하는데요. 이 많은 분들이 좀 공감을 하셨어요. 한국인 분들이. 무슨 얘기냐면 좀 타인의 시선을 의식하는 경향상 내가 어떤 말을 강하게 얘기를 하면 이 사람이 나를 그렇게 볼까? 를 전제를 하고 항상 조심스러운 표현을 쓰더라고요.
그렇죠.
이거는 저 역시도 그랬습니다. 제가 원래는 라디오 PD를 하다가 DJ가 됐어요. 회사에서 진행도 하라고 해서. 근데 제가 진행을 했던 그 라디오를 모니터를 해보니까요. 제가 계속 그런 표현을 쓰고 있더라고요. 왜냐하면 청취자분들이 들으시기에 내가 하는 말이 너무 강압적으로 들릴까? 세게 들릴까? 이걸 되게 염두에 놓고 여러분 이 노래 상당히 좋은 것 같은데요. 이렇게 노래를 소개하는 거예요.
네.
여러분 이 노래 좋습니다 하면은 오히려 더 자신감 있게 들려서 그 노래가 궁금하잖아요.
네네.
근데 제가 반대로 얘기를 하고 있더라고요. 그래서 매력이 덜한 느낌이 들었어요.
그렇죠. 이 노래 좋아요. 여러분 꼭 들으셔야 돼요. 이렇게 말해도 되거든요.
맞아요.
근데 항상 좋은 것 같아요. 들어보셔도 괜찮을 것 같습니다.
맞습니다.
것 같습니다가 너무
Yeah, exactly. I mean, then it sounds like you're actually expressing perhaps uncertainty whether your appreciation will be shared.
많이 쓰이고 실제로 그냥 의식하지 않으면 거의 모든 문장 끝에 넣을 수도 있거든요. 예의를 갖춘다라는 취지도 있잖아요.
맞아요.
그래서 예의를 갖추는 건 좋은데 꼭 그 표현 자체만으로 모든 예의가 해결되는 건 아니다라고 생각을 합니다.
그렇죠.
저도 어쩔 수 없이 가끔 쓰게 되는 말이 좀 어려울 것 같습니다.
오,
이 말을
어려울 것 같습니다. Yeah, like this is a way of saying no, this is not going to happen.
완전히 피할 수는 없잖아요.
그렇죠.
그럼 어려울 거지만 해주겠다는 건지 약간의 여지를 열어두는 표현이다 보니까
Yeah.
죄송하지만 그때는 제가 못 갑니다. 뭐 그런 식으로 말을 해주는 것도 중요한 것 같아요.
아, 맞습니다. 근데 저는 이제 기업 강의를 많이 하면서 뭐를 느꼈냐면요.
네.
이거 좋습니다. 라고 긍정 표현을 하면 그래요? 그럼 그 프로젝트 하세요. 그러니까 일이 떨어지기 때문에.
네네.
혹은 이거 되게 괜찮은 것 같은데요가 아니라 이거 괜찮은데요라고 했을 때 또 다른 부작용은
네.
그래요? 책임지실래요?
Okay. Where exactly are we? I feel like this is California. I mean, the landscape feels like certain parts between like SLO and LA that I've seen on the train. So far, we haven't got a whole lot of clear indication.
내 말에 대한 책임감이 부여가 되기 때문에 완곡한 표현을 쓰는 것 같습니다. 그래서
네. 저는
저는 이런 걸 추천해드려요. 긍정적인 표현을 할 때는 그래도 좀 책임을 안 져야 되는 적어도 내가 무엇을 좋아한다, 뭐 음식을 좋아한다,
본인의 기호,
내 기호, 취미 이런 것만큼이라도 좀 자신감 있는 표현을 써보자. 그러면 더 설득력이 있고 그 말이 매력적으로 들린다라는 말씀을 드리고요.
네.
말씀하신 그 부정적인 표현은 사실은
네.
좀 완곡하게 거절하기 위해서 한국인들이 많이 사용하는 표현이기도 해요. 그래서
네.
저는 오히려 부정적인 표현은 너무 세게 하면 상대가 되게 상처를 받을 수 있으니까 겉각다를 그럴 때 좀 응용하시는 것도 방법이다라는 말씀을 오히려 드리고 싶기도 하네요.
사실은 어떤 언어든 절대로 쓰면 안 되는 말이나 절대적으로 나쁜 말이 있는 것은 아니다 보니 다 어떻게 쓰느냐에 따라 달라집니다. 여러분 쓰기 나름이고요. 오늘 굉장히 유용한 포인트들을 많이 소개해 주셔서 감사합니다.
Okay. So that is Talk to Me in Korean. Great channel if you're looking to get into Korean. Also, okay, here's one of my absolute favorite language related channels on YouTube has got a new video out called The World's Hardest Spelling Bee is a Writing System. I'm not even sure how a writing systems bee works, but Native Lang is just an amazing channel. I mean, well, I'll show you. It's just hard not to... It's kind of impossible not to fall in love with this channel because the design, all the, like, the design, the animation, all this stuff, and then it's just all sorts of amazing just language nerd content. All the best language nerd content. It's not so much teaching you a language, but just talking about languages. It's interesting language stuff, and I'm there for it.
Hardest spelling bee. You face a game show wheel with as many languages and writing systems as possible. Spin the wheel. Whatever comes up, you have to read a word and then write a word in that.
Okay. So how many of these can I manage right now? So, Al-Arabi. Okay, Arabic, we got there. Elinika, that's Greek. Putonghua. Simplified Chinese right there. Hangugo. Yeah, Egyptian hieroglyphs. I believe I see Amazigh, which I can't read. I believe that's Syriac there. Horizontal on the left. Then I think we've got Cree pointing sort of downward towards the left. Amanye, that is what I need. I think we've got Gujarati up top.
That language and that script. For years I've been daydreaming about this bee, using it to compare alphabets and others.
It's interesting, like, because there's literally only the use of bee here is fascinating. Because there's I don't know where the hell we got the concept of a spelling bee, the term a spelling bee. And to my knowledge, spelling contests are not a thing in like other language areas. I've never heard of a spelling bee being a thing in like Spanish speaking places or anything like that. But to see bee taken away from the spelling context, it's interesting.
Scripts and claim
Sounds
one's
weird.
harder than another. I still use it to ask myself, from my calligraphy practice, which language script pairs would I cross my fingers for, and which ones have my hands trembling merely.
Okay, yeah, we've got that. Looks like Tibetan, and he's got a whole video. Actually, it may have been the first video I ever saw from his channel about the hardest writing system, and Tibetan, he says, is the hands down hardest because all the spellings are historical spellings, meaning that the way you spell it has little to nothing to do with how you actually pronounce it. Is the pronunciations have been simplified over the years. And then Egyptian hieroglyphics is, I'm not sure about Rotoka, what language that is actually. Word. Out of context anyway, ringing any bells.
Thinking they might come up on my turn. Admittedly, sometimes my daymares of this game spin out of control.
See, again, I don't think I've ever heard anyone do that, but I mean, language, this is language nerd content, so why wouldn't you decide to go with
Well,
daymares?
after keeping those thoughts to myself, today indulge me. I think the world's hardest.
The animations on this thing, it's just amazing visual. I love the visual. I'm just here for the visuals alone, really. The content is a bonus.
Spelling Bee dramatizes a more nuanced model of writing than I first gave it credit for. Let's spin that wheel together once again and show you with examples from across my years of inexperience why it leaves me suspicious we don't yet have a coherent understanding or definition that embraces all of our many ways of writing.
See,
I need a summertime breather. Maybe you do too. We made it most of the way through my animated grammatical animals series when the audience requested a breather, and patrons asked for that breath to take in this beautifully unique writing system you see.
okay, that is gorgeous. I love the colors on that. I believe that is Kichi.
Here. Preparing our path to that video, I reminisced and inked my way back across the diverse scripts I've studied, and found myself slipping for the umpteenth time into that dream of a writing bee. So what is a spelling bee, and what's this spelling bee? The history of the spelling...
okay, knowing native lang, I would not be surprised if we actually were going to get some answers about how the hell we ended up calling it a bee.
B begins. No, I won't do that to you.
Oh, no, please do that to me. I'm curious. You do a good job with it.
For those of us who crave details, meet me down in my sources document. 2 points I will share from researching spelling bees. One thing for those who grew up with them, another for those who did not. First group. You might not realize it, but packing a room full with students and having them compete to spell aloud trickier and trickier words started in and is tied to US English.
I was almost sure about that. I've never heard anyone talk about a spelling bee anywhere other than the US.
So if you grew up doing this, know it's not a shared educational experience, but a peculiar ritual you participated in.
Yeah.
Opinions around the world range from, we don't do that here, to our spelling's phonemic, to even, we have our own orthography games, thank you. And that's a whole other animation. Now, to the newcomers out there, and as a refresher to us olds, here's the base game, details spared. You line up with your classmates. Each of you takes a turn. You get a word. The word's pronounced. You have to repeat it, spell it out letter by letter, then repeat it again. Spell it wrong, you're knocked out. Do that in rounds of harder and harder words until one speller remains. From asking around, some adults to this day can't let go of that word that got them out.
I didn't think any...
My dream of a nightmare writing bee wraps this kernel of a concept within a larger spectacle. It alters its inspiration in at least 2 basic ways.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, he's got this list of why English. And it's exactly the things I would have thought of. Maybe his English is full of spellings that make no phonetic sense. Unless you know that they used to be pronounced that way 1,000 years ago or something like that.
Appealing to language lovers the world over, the words aren't only drawn from English, nor any one language, but every known script language pair across the globe and across history.
Okay.
You randomly spin to choose the one you're relegated to. Once it comes up, the other twist. Not only do you hear or see signed a word, which you have to write, not spell aloud, but then you are silently presented with another word which you must read.
This would be tough.
That's the world's hardest spelling bee. Its point was to showcase the entire world of writing, to shatter the monolingual and monoscriptual barrier, and to compare scripts. Well, how does this stunt show off what drives one language script pair to be harder to write than another? That goes directly to how it subverts its inspiration. See, the original bee has a historical arc that doubles down on marks on the page definitions of writing. From spelling for reading's sake, to spelling for spelling's sake, to spelling for winning's sake.
An interesting concept. Is he gonna tell us where the word bee, how the word bee even gets into this? Oh, Ray's jerky. Yeah, wherever the hell we are, Ray is there and there's biltong to be had. $60-mile-an-hour limit, so we should probably have actual signs telling us place names that are nearby someplace along the way.
Perhaps that alone could make us stop and check our educational priorities, but perhaps 1, maybe even 2 beautiful creators out there already have something to say about that.
Andrewism is being recommended. Was that you who recommended Andrewism? Oh, no. That was Toriel Dreamer on the other stream who recommended
Writing Bee puts into practice a different definition of writing. Here, I'll try to depict that definition. Our game show starts narrowly focused on the symbols, limiting ourselves to scrutinizing marks on the page, or the wheel. These are the familiar boundaries of academic definitions of writing. But then this game zooms out to include the roles of a writer writing and a reader reading, presumably also implying some surrounding studies of society and writing.
Like, I mean, just the visuals on this. Oh, that's right. Okay, you did.
For both roles, it tests what makes a script harder or easier using a simple mapping between symbols and phonemes. This function maps phonemes to glyphs and glyphs to phonemes as a way to determine a script's consistency for writers and readers. Many glyphs mapping to one linguistic unit is hard on the writer. One glyph mapping to many linguistic units is hard on the reader. One-to-one mapping is easy on both roles. Many-to-many is hard on both. So when I put you in the hot seat and test you on both roles back-to-back, the result claims to detect opaque mapping, historical spelling, any inconsistencies that make a script challenging. So that's how I think this wheel worked. Now how it doesn't.
Okay.
Here, take these examples I've been handwriting. From my rough calligraphy practice, these are ones that give me pause when, late at night, the writing bee pops into my mind. I'll share the slower, messier thinking while inking with patrons. Here I'll summarize so we can keep the pen flowing.
I mean,
Please don't be impressed, I dabble to a fault. Wiser people have devoted their hands to each script and they've inspired me. Links to them below. In our worldwide writing bee, what kinds of roles have writers and readers played? Well, they've negotiated and adjusted a familiar system that covers an enormous diversity of languages, and even
Mokoni. Igoni. That's Irish. We got Isizulu there. Okay.
contradictory conventions. One 20th century writer innovated this handcrafted alphabet to represent a language family and its emerging koine. For millennia, readers and writers have maintained this old script through diacritics and sound mergers, going on to inspire others who also contributed several of their own much older signs. They have argued that your horizon should face the left way in these two scripts.
Yeah, and the right to left, and I have to say, being left-handed, right to left scripts really have their benefits.
That you're using too many vowels,
Entirely less ink on your hand.
and you're missing out on rules about shapes, connections, and gaps in your cursive. But they differ in wanting similarly streamlined letters with more dots versus shapelier letters with fewer. They have read main letters as inherent simple syllables, which they then modify on all sides, and can turn into ornate syllables with complex ligatures. They've passed that same script's relatives along across mainland and islands to fit the cultures and syllables of languages from very different mountain-spanning and water-spanning families. They have performed a linguistic feat, featuring features graphically in syllable blocks to record their sounds simply, which counterbalances how deeply their grammar depends on difficult politeness levels. They have learned how to intertwine three redundant systems simultaneously in sentences that somehow without spaces clearly separate words, affixes.
This is incidentally why all these, you'll hear takes, especially from people who don't really know Japanese at all or are just beginning to learn it, where it's like, oh, they should get rid of kanji. It would be so much easier to use. It's like the only way you can actually break up kanji play a lot of roles in Japanese. One of them is that they break up the sentence. They help indicate where one word begins and another ends, since Japanese doesn't have spaces.
Meaning and syntax. Among them has been a dancer who created a new way of writing based on signing instead of speaking, pushing readers to think across modalities and relate symbols to shapes moving through space. And they have perpetuated a famously long-lived reservoir of signs, routinely misconstrued from outside, that writers piece together at least as much for their sounds as their meaning, and which generations of readers would find burdensome to memorize, but immediate and compact once kept in the heart. So, To me, above all, a few scripts stand out for their conspicuous absence from my wheel. The more I learn, the more they challenge it and point to where we're headed. Maya scribes have access to simple syllables, logograms, and a convention that lets consonant-vowel signs unaltered represent closed syllables with complex vowels.
An extremely complex writing. I mean, look at all the strokes that go into each one of those.
In these drawings, I'm playing with picturing how the script comes with an agreement that when you close one syllable, you just use another regular syllable, but in a pattern that lets you spell both the final consonant and the type of vowel before it. Once you're used to it, this doesn't feel harder than, like, Latin ALMG script. Words squeeze into uniform blocks. Creativity comes in the form of choosing, resizing, rotating, combining elements within those blocks. Watch how it comes together. I can merge two syllable signs plus stick on a cropped passive suffix in one word block, and then in the next block write a stone logogram, reinforced by a syllable pronunciation hint beneath it. For an ancient idiom, the stone was planted, meaning the stela was raised. Back to a word I've loved here before. Let's stack yichnal again in 3D.
Wait, okay.
When I pull it apart, the components alone are
See, again, amazing visuals.
yichinal-la. And there are flexibly many more ways to write that word, all correct, even if some require creative thinking. In context, Maya writers and readers rely on, returning to this paper again, a lot of iconic and linguistic hybridity. Like in the oldest extant codex, the scribe, the Akhtzib, repeats this sign below an image of chak to write the word road, and at the same time draws a road. Or a stela maker arranges text in this woven mat pattern to add a message of royalty to the lineage history the glyph blocks recount. It's sometimes likened to manga since meanings emerge from a scenic word-image interplay. The standard teaching goes that writing progressed in stages
US
from
50.
picto to logo to phono. Well, what about writers who could do all those at once? Head west, revisit a couple of videos, and ask the Nawa. When a writer writes this sign, tlantli, meaning teeth, a reader can read it with the full noun suffix or can drop its suffix and pronounce tlan or tla or short tla, even la. You can also stretch it out to a repetitive tla-tlan. This reducing, expanding isn't arbitrary, it's formulaic, and here's the formula. Writers don't distinguish short and long vowels, which is why the stem quau, eagle, with a long vowel can write the quau, trees that make up the first syllable in Guatemala. Keep on your toes, even color and size are meaningful. Patrons, I know I animated a short show and tell for you before, but to sum up, read painted colors as the color word.
Interesting.
Sometimes it's a pun, like in this date, the color turquoise means the word year, so they sound alike. Similarly with dimensions, you read the size. A big or great day is a month, a ritual calendar 20-day month. Writers and readers engage in extensive punning and give and take. Here a wache tree grows out of a nose, plainly wash and yaka. But an added layer is that the face punnily crosses morpheme boundaries to ensure we read the place name Washyakak, Oaxaca. Now bring in a whole sheet. This give and take text tells us what named people say to each other about other labeled elements on the page. There's a script-like and at the same time
I wonder how much time goes into each of these, because if all of this stuff has to be individually inked, then individually animated, that is
animated like quality to this way of writing. It often links to exact wordings, since hardly anything goes. Speaking of the name Oaxaca, that's where the Mixtec or Yung Usabi pictorials come from. They get to the heart of what's both excited and troubled me about my writing bee built atop a definition built atop people taking two roles. Writers play with puns, notably with changes in tone. And readers follow a clear pattern, reading scenes in a predefined, outlined order. Still, they're missing anything linguistically segmental. More than its parts, the script works, according to one author, more schematically. I think that's worth more animated minutes, a journey where codices from Mexico make us second guess our fundamental takes on writing, the roles of readers and writers, and the people who have inhabited those roles. Next time. I sure hope you've enjoyed my trip back to my writing systems bee and my script study musing. Thank you, patrons, for supporting my animations and for choosing this summertime breather.
Okay, so again, this is native lang and just amazing language nerd content. Now we've got some other stuff we could look at as we sort of gradually moving towards the close of today. We've got about a half hour to go. We could look at English for everyone and have a nice long gawk at just the ultimate in ESL cringe content. There's also, I mean, another example of one of my favorite sort of Arabic channels, Talk Arabic Today. They've got there's a good video there, just a good example of what I like about the channel. We've got a Chilean cookery video, which, as I often point out, cookery videos are one of my favorite favorite sources of comprehensible input, because, yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking too. That was very cool. With a cookery video, you're getting the thing that's happening at the same time as you're getting the description, and it's usually full of familiar objects and that are easily identified. Which makes the uptake quite simple. So we've got that, and we've got a film about the Occitan language. The film appears to be in French and Occitan. La Lengua Defenduda. Any particular preferences, chat? Kind of curious about this. This is La Lengua Defenduda. We're not gonna get to see the whole thing. This is Occitan, which is a language spoken in the south of France.
Parla portuguès. Per questa ragione, quando ero in visionato, non difendevo di parlare portoghese. Quando non avevo a scuola, la vecchia mi paga parlare in portoghese e ora devo parlare portoghese.
Okay, so this is Occitan with French subs. And they're talking about how they weren't allowed to speak Occitan growing up. Neat heads. Just random heads in a house. Like, apropos of nothing. Just a couple of heads looking like... Huge pig. Chickens walking away from Jesus. What did he ever do for chickens? They're asking themselves. Are they about to be abducted by aliens? What's going on here? Okay. This looks like a the sort of like scene you see when some sort of weird alien influence is causing everybody in a town to walk to one place or something like that. Okay, so what's going on here? C'est où ça?
Ah, aquí, oh. Lusitonion.
Annonce. Vabrot-Isaac, Tranier Lydie, scène 9, prise 1.
Bonjour madame.
Mañamos. Bonjour. Salut. Como dicen en copero.
Et tout le monde y passe, là?
Eh oui. Que les savants, parce qu'il faut savoir parler patois.
La lengua occitana accueille la raíz del país.
Mais il y a tellement de monde dans quelle langue que le français c'est pas vrai. Tu parles pas l'anglais, hein? Ah, il paraît contre l'anglais, d'ailleurs.
Parce que peut-être c'est qu'on n'avait pas l'Académie française qui limite la langue. Et évidemment, ça n'a jamais passé en occitan. Donc il y a une...
Okay, so he's saying Occitan is not like shackled by the Académie de la Langue that puts limits on French.
richesse
Never heard Occitan spoken. I'm like...
que j'admire. Et en fait, ça c'est très comme anglais.
Jo savais pas parlar, que hi ha 4 mots de vocabulari aquí a comptar. Quand tornaré trobar un enregistrament aquí de ma meta que faisait una presentació d'una rau aquí des Pastorell de Ruergue. Ma cada mot volia dire qui connaît en particulier des plats précis avait une richesse extraordinaire. Et me dit
talking about, he found this video. He only knew a few words of Occitan, and then he found a video of his grandmother talking about a dress in Occitan, and he was impressed, by the richness of the language. He says to himself, "We lost so much."
Avem perdu talment.
Podem pas parlar en occitan de l'intelligenza artificielle. Ça y passe, ne parlem d'accord en occitan.
Mais j'espère que l'occitan ben tutun dins de casensos que pla particular un és del territori que vau parlar.
Okay, it's interesting. I'm just like, as I said, I've never heard Occitan spoken before. I've seen it like written a few times, but it sounds like Catalan.
D'un vilatge, d'un paisatge, d'un inflexo de personaggi che conegheri a lavorio, della famiglia. Come se la lingua era pegado.
Pegado. Okay, and then suddenly it sounds Spanish.
Sì, il y a che transpiro, che s'uso del territorio e che se sono l'occità.
Lo stupe se un foto da qua.
Because young people don't give a shit about
Perché
it. They
francese
speak French.
ou anglais. Di 20 ans, però il n'y aura pas plus d'eux.
Et puis quiconque, on y tient. Malgré que je dis, si on peut la conserver, tant mieux. Mais de là, pour me dire, je parle longtemps à vivre, je ne ferai pas dans mon outil. Vous voyez ce que je veux dire? Mais c'est vrai que quand il dommage, je ne vais pas jouer ça. Parce qu'on est déterminé.
Io me le fanno comprare, ma lo parlo qua. Perché? Perché non hanno parlato.
Me hanno membro subito. Non dire immediata.
Perché? Perché io me le fanno
His kids understand it, but they don't
comprare, ma lo
speak
parlo
it.
qua.
Nobody's spoken.
Perché? Perché non hanno parlato.
Me hanno membro subito. Non dire immediata, ragazzo. Come era dire che has.
Is when young people, when they hear you speaking it, they look at you like, well, what's your deal?
Tant que hi havia de plus vieux que jo, no parlaven pas mai en francès, parlaven tot en occitan. Puis tot un cop, piso a piso, tots aquells anciens subpartits, e això és com un culo aquí, poder parlar en occitan tot surt.
Un cop que val mai après l'anglès que el portuguès, que l'occitan. Malheureusement, ne percebi. Encore de mort, pas que...
I'm going to switch over. I think, because I think I would end up having to translate this whole thing or to make sense to a non-French speaking chat. And that's far as more have. So instead, we're gonna look at these jabronis.
Hello, welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English.
And we do not blink.
Today we're going to learn some expressions to avoid and which expressions to use to sound more natural. So let's get started. First,
and we're going to do it in the most petty way imaginable by just picking on non-native speaking English language related content creators.
Don't use this expression.
The last thing with ChatGPT that I wanted to show you today is asking it to help me sound more natural. It's raining cats and dogs outside. It's boring outside. Right? It's raining cats and dogs is common, but what is the other way to say it more natural? It's boring.
Yeah, I mean, that's not wrong. That's all right. So.
And I just asked to regenerate the response, and it says the sentence "it's raining cats and dogs outside" is already a natural sounding phrase in American English.
I mean, here's the thing: asking ChatGPT for information, asking these like chatbots for information, you should not rely on the information. That they have this notorious problem that they just make shit up. That just makes absolutely no sense. That is completely untrue, but in this case, it's totally right. It's raining cats and dogs outside is a totally normal thing to say.
English. This idiom is commonly used to describe heavy rain and is well known in the US.
Yeah.
The expression, "it's raining cats and dogs," is not commonly used in the United States.
Oh, fuck off! Like, yeah, I mean, it's certainly in use in the US. I mean, it's an expression, and expressions do, like, they have life cycles. And just raining cats and dogs probably sounded really cool when somebody first came up with it, and then 100 years later, everyone was like, okay, can we come up with a different metaphor? Maybe this is boring me, or something like that. But I mean, it's not wrong to say it. People do say it.
It doesn't sound natural.
Yeah, it does.
It sounds very old-fashioned, and people don't use it anymore. Let's listen to some different native speakers talk about this expression, "it's raining cats and dogs."
Raining cats and dogs. Sorry, there's a mosquito flying around me. This phrase is quaint and a little bit old-fashioned. I haven't actually heard anyone use this phrase recently.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I haven't either, but it's not wrong. It's not something people should avoid. People will understand it. And the thing is, let me just say, see, English for Everyone has sort of a war against style. A war against any kind, anything that might make your speech interesting, as far as I can tell. Like, yeah, saying something that maybe sounds a little bit old-timey, also makes your speech interesting. People will understand it. Having it as a resource
but
isn't a
you
bad thing.
might if you watch an older movie or TV show.
Then we have an idiom, and that idiom is raining cats and dogs. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's great to learn idioms, especially for your comprehension, because people use idioms all the time. The reason why I'm putting this up there, raining cats and dogs, is because when you're learning English idioms, I think this is often one of the first idioms that people learn.
Yeah, and there's nothing fucking wrong with that.
People learn idioms like piece of cake, something's easy, or they might say, oh, raining cats and dogs, because we love talking about the weather. Even though you would learn this idiom, we don't really say it that much. I just say...
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but there's no reason, like, you can say things that aren't in common. I do it all the time. I also make up words. That's the thing you can do. You can just fucking make up words. Like, I mean... This is not, and the fact that it is not commonly used does not change the fact that it is common, that it is understood.
Say, you know, it's raining hard. I don't really say, well, it's raining cats and dogs.
So, if people don't say it's raining cats and dogs, what expression are you supposed to use?
You say, it's fucking pissing down. For example, how is the weather outside? It's fucking pissing down. Look out the window. Would you say it's fucking pissing down? That's right. It's fucking pissing down outside.
To sound more natural. To express the idea that it's raining very hard. That's what we say. We say it's raining very hard.
See what I said about they have like this war on style? That's a boring way to say it. Yeah, it's not wrong. People say that. It's raining very hard, but people say other stuff too. He did this the last thing we looked at, where, well, it wasn't him, it was his partner, Lisa, and she was going off on lingua marina for using synonyms. Yeah, everybody knows what that means. Like, what else is it going... I mean, because what else is it going to mean? It's not literally going to mean that there are cats and dogs coming from the sky. Usually.
It's raining really hard. You can say that, and that will sound a lot more natural than it's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, but it's fucking boring. It's boring. You understand that it's boring. People don't want to sound boring.
Just say it's raining very hard. But we do have some expressions we can use that are...
like, what makes it worse is the very. It's raining hard. Sounds okay. It's raining very hard sounds like you're a chatbot. Okay.
Are natural. For example, it's pouring. It's really pouring.
Yeah.
I can't say it's very pouring because pouring is a verb. You can use really to emphasize it. It's really pouring, or it's just pouring.
Which is a really interesting thing about very and really, because they do basically do the same thing, but I will give him credit. That is true. Really, very goes in places where really, really goes in places where very can't, and he's actually quite right that a verb versus noun and adjective is the distinction being made. I credit where credit is due.
It comes from the action pour, like you pour the water from the pitcher into the glass. That's the verb pour.
No shit. Like, is anyone who can follow along this video so far unfamiliar with a really basic verb like that? I don't see it.
So we use this verb to talk about the rain. If it's raining really hard, we say it's pouring. It's really pouring. Let's hear some examples.
Yeah, I mean...
Come on, man! It's pouring out there!
It's pouring out.
All right, you're tired.
Oh, Howard!
It's pouring out there.
It's really pouring.
Oh, it's pouring out.
Like...
Oh, but it's pouring outside.
You're crazy. It's pouring out there.
Oh my gosh, it's pouring.
You made your point.
And the most common expression, I think, is this one. It's
really, I don't know. Most common, it's definitely common. It's a good expression. But there's nothing wrong with it's raining cats and dogs. It is a lower frequency thing, but actually having lower frequency words, lower frequency expressions, it's actually kind of fun. It makes your speech more interesting. You can do things, and once you understand, and this is a thing that is true of all languages have their own way of constructing these sorts of idioms and metaphors. And once you start to understand the structural principles behind it, you can make shit up. And that's the really cool thing. It's raining assholes and elbows out there. See what I did there? Everybody knows that means it's raining hard. But nobody says that. But everybody will understand it, and people will laugh, depending on which people you've got. I don't think Kevin would laugh. Kevin does not seem like the sort of person who would laugh about hearing that it's raining assholes and elbows out there. He would probably make a video denouncing me for using an uncommon phrase that he does not feel sounds natural, spoken as somebody who never blinks.
It's really coming down out there. So we use really to give emphasis. We cannot say very because coming is a verb. We emphasize it with really. It's really coming down out there. Or you can just say it's coming down.
Okay, yeah, I'm not... There are jokes that immediately come to mind when he starts talking about coming. I'm not going to make
Down out there. Let's hear some examples.
Wow, it's really coming down.
Wow, it's really coming down out there.
It's coming down hard.
Man, it's coming down hard.
He doesn't seem to understand what the point of an example is. I mean, these aren't like proof of life videos for an expression. Like, give some bloody context.
It's really coming down out there.
Yeah.
Man, it's really coming down out there. Gosh, it's really coming.
Yeah, like... I'm curious too, because I don't know that I could just offhand think of a certain number of movies and TV shows that all use a certain very common expression. It's the uncommon expressions that you can remember a video, like a movie from or whatever. Like, did he just go through hours and hours of content to just come up with this? I mean, if so... points for effort, certainly. I mean, that's dedication right there.
It's coming down out there. It's coming down out there. I could give you a ride over to the teacherage on my horse if you'd like.
So let's practice. Is it raining really hard?
It's coming down assholes and it's raining assholes and elbows.
That's right. It's raining really hard. Is it really pouring?
No, it isn't. It is raining hard, but it is not pouring. Like, again, this is not an exercise. Like, I mean, there's no content, there's no memorability to this. What are you doing?
That's right, it's really pouring. Is it really coming down out there?
It's coming down cats and dogs.
That's right, it's really coming down out there. These are the best ways to say it's raining really hard. Don't say it's raining cats and dogs.
Why
it sounds
not?
really old-fashioned or like you're trying to be funny.
Which would be terrible. I mean, what a fucking nightmare, you're trying to be funny. Also, I don't know that it's raining cats and dogs sounds like you're trying to be funny. I guess it could be. It could be. But, like, that doesn't mean that that's something that should be avoided. And I don't know that I would necessarily take my, like, comedy tips from this guy. I don't know, maybe he's hilarious. Maybe outside of these videos, he's a laugh riot. But I think his contribution to humor as far as these videos is entirely unintentional.
Don't say it.
Hi there. Welcome to English for Everyone. My name's Lisa.
And my name's Kevin. Today we're going to practice with correct American pronunciation.
Let's get started.
Maybe you are pronouncing some words in a wrong way. Let's do a quick test. Calm. Calm. Something you use for your hair. Calm.
He's like the Caleb Maupin of language, of English content. Once you actually look at it, especially with it's the goatee that's doing that. It's that like attempted goatee that all of a sudden like he's like astral projected Caleb Maupin.
It's not calm. We cannot use the short ah sound like hot and stop.
Well, actually,
calm.
and if you but yeah, true. But if you listen to her, she actually says it differently each of those times she used the word. And this is like an idiosyncratic thing.
We have to use the long O sound like no and go. We pronounce this word comb. O. Make the long O sound.
I don't want to hear Kevin making that O sound.
Comb. And remember, the B is silent. Don't pronounce the B. Comb. So comb is the noun, is the thing. I have a comb, and it's also the verb. I comb my hair in the morning with my comb. Make the long O sound.
That's a useful thing to comb your hair.
Comb.
If you're interested in speaking English as a native speaker without any mistakes, continue watching this video. There is a subtle difference, so watch me carefully. A lot of people say
okay, she's gonna teach us how to pronounce ACAB, I guess?
police, which is not right. It's police. Police.
And actually, I mean, not wrong, but those are two, actually, both of those, you will hear both of them. It depends very much on what part of North America you're in. You'll hear police. Often, like, even with the first syllable emphasized, but police, and then there's even you'll even hear people say police. Or
and I'm blowing a candle.
We do not say police. You're not blowing out a candle. The word is police.
That's what she was going for. She was just emphasizing the schwa, Caleb.
Police. We don't use the ah sound like stop and hot. We use the the short sound like cup and P.
I mean, it's just easier to say pig.
Police. The stress is on the second syllable.
Oh God,
police.
Don't remind me of
It's
Lufa.
not on the first syllable. We do not say police. It's police.
Folk the police. Okay, it's time for me to wrap up, and so let me just say thank you for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope to see you at 11:30 as the JabroniCon resumes. I will also be back on the Twitch tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time for more of this and even more exciting things than Kevin Maupin. Have a good evening. It's time for me to turn some dough into calzone. Have a good evening.